This should be a quicker video, not as long as the other one, obviously. Let's just say now, in this problem, the center is not at the origin, it's at -2, -3. And that's what it would look like here. I kept the radius the same. The radius is still 5. So the circle is identical. The only difference is, now the center point has been moved here. From the origin down to that point, which is at -2, -3. So the only way the equation is going to change, remember the original equation from before, let's go with blue here, was that x squared plus the y squared is equal to r squared, very similar to the Pythagorean theorem. But now, since the center point moved, here's how it works out. You end up with parentheses. Oh, that was not a good one. You end up with parentheses. We still don't know what well, we still know the radius is 5. We'll talk about that in a second. But these are still squared. Now, what happens is you have to determine how far you would have to go to get back to the origin. So you're looking at the center point and going back to that origin. So instead of it being a center point which has a -2 in the x, what we write here is x plus 2, because we'd have to move the x 2 units to the right to get back to the origin, and the y the same thing. We'd have to move it up 3 points, or 3 units to get it back to the origin. And the last thing I have to address is the radius. Since we know that was 5, I have to put that in there. So our equation will be x plus 2 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals 5 squared, which 5 times 5 is 25. That is basically the lesson tomorrow. You're going to have a worksheet. It's probably a 3-page worksheet, and you're going to have to do several things with the equation of a circle. But that is the long and short of what I just taught you. So let's just say I have x minus 3 squared plus y plus 1 squared equals 16. What that is a circle centered at +3, -1, and a radius of 4. And I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm going to go to +3. Oh, +3, -1. Should have a center point, right? No, I'm going to have to zoom in. Okay, the center was 3, -1, and the radius is 4. Let's try this again. 3, -1 is right there. Has a radius of 4, so point there, point there, point there, point there. Let's just make a very rough circle, because oh wait, I do have a circle tool. I bet it's not going to work. Let's not try it now. I'm just going to go, no, not what I wanted. Okay, let me finish this up here. It goes around like that, and like that, and like that, and there's your circle. Not the best one, but it works. So tomorrow we're going to be learning about circle equations and how we can write them if you're given a center and a radius. And that's it. So if I were you tonight, I would practice going from a center and radius to what the circle would look like on the graph, and to also what the equation would look like. Because tomorrow in class you're going to be doing that in your groups. Have a good night.